Hi everyone, I'm Rohn Strong and welcome back to my channel. I feel like I need to name this like Ron's Crochet Show. Like, tell me in the comments below, what should we call this? Whatever I'm doing, my tutorials, should we call it like Ron's Crochet Show? The Rohn Strong Show? I feel like there should be like a show. Anyway, that's not what you came here for. But, you know, subscribe and leave a comment and like the video and all that good stuff. Okay, so today we're going to be stitching up the Rick Rack blanket. Now, this is a pattern that I've had out for a little bit, not a whole, not like a super long time, but it's one of my most popular patterns because it's so fun, it's so easy, and it works up so fast. It's essentially like a 2-row repeat-ish, and I just love it. I love this blanket. First of all, it's super cozy. It's a square. It's worked from the center out. We get to use cake yarns, which are everyone loves cake yarns, goodness. And it uses a fun neutral. You can go like crazy and go like cream, or you could use black, you could use gray. I'm just naming all the neutral colors, but you know what I'm saying. So I want to show you how to work this up. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for making this work for any yarn and hook combo that you can come up with in your little old noggin. Yeah, so let's get going. So here's the thing. Blankets like this are my jam because I love working crochet blankets from the center out. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, you get to control the amount of yarn you need a little bit more because you just work until you don't have any more yarn and your blanket is the size that it's gonna be. So it's great if, especially if you're making a gift and you're on a budget, right? So this blanket here, it was not crazy expensive. I think it was like 30 or 40 bucks total. And that's because I used one of my very favorite yarns, probably my favorite yarn in the entire world, Lion Brand Ferris Wheel. Now, Ferris Wheel is a gradient slash self-striping slash variegated yarn. It's kind of a menage of those things together, and I absolutely love the way that it works up. As you can see here, I used this color that I cannot remember the name of anymore. Do I have it next to me? I do. This is called Pink Marmalade, and I said that like Patti LaBelle, so anyway, this is Pink Marmalade, and I love it. It's really pretty. This color here, which is the blue version, is called Full Moon. And then I just chose a creamy neutral. Now, here's the deal. You can use any yarn, any hook to make this up basically however you want. It's always going to turn out square. It's always going to turn out cool. If you don't want to use a variegated yarn, you just wanted to use 2 solid yarns, you could totally do that. You could stripe the different colors out. It's Pride Month. Happy Pride, y'all. I thought it'd be really cool to do a rainbow all the way out. So, you know, if you want to do that and send it to me. I don't feel like crocheting it. Are you guys like me? Like one time you make a project and you're done? Like I don't want to remake it. All right, so to get started, we're going to chain 4. Then, in the 4th chain from the hook, we're going to work 1 double crochet, chain 1, and we're going to do that 7 times. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now those that skipped beginning 4 stitches there counts as our first double crochet and our first chain 1. We're going to tighten up our tail there, and we're going to join into the 3rd chain of that beginning chain 4. So we should have 8 double crochet and 8 chain 1 spaces. Now we're going to chain 1 and single crochet into our first chain 1 space. Then in the next chain 1 space, we're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. Single crochet in the next chain 1 space. Then into the next chain 1 space, we're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. Single crochet in the next chain 1 space. So essentially what we're doing here is we're establishing our corners. So we need to get our corners all set and ready to go, and then we'll be able to kind of work our square up and out from there. All right, so I've reached the end of my second round, and I'm simply going to join into my first single crochet there with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to grab my color B. I'm going to pull that through the loop of A on my hook and just give A a nice little tight tug, and I'm going to keep both of those strands at the back of my work because we're going to be carrying our yarn up the back side of this Afghan. So we're never going to cut our strands. I get a lot of questions about that. We're not cutting our strands at all. We're just going to be carrying it at the back of our work, okay? So what we're going to do next is just turn our work. Now we're going to single crochet in the single crochet we joined in, which is kind of diagonal into the right of where our current loop is. So we're just going to insert it into that, grab our loop, and then single crochet. Then grab the tail of B and just kind of bring it to the back. We want all our tails on the back. Okay, so now we need to establish our first corner. Now the corners that are worked in B are always going to be the same. So even this first one here is going to be the same as your last one. They're worked in a fashion similar to the shell, but with a couple other chain spaces in there. So what you'll do is in the corner chain space, you're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochet. Then single crochet into the next single crochet. Into the next corner chain space, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochet. Then single crochet into the next single crochet, and we repeat that all the way around. So at the end of this, you should have 4 of those corner shells. Now, listed in the pattern, which, like I said, is linked below, these are not called corner shells. They're just 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. I just put them in the directions. I didn't want to confuse y'all. But it's easier to say corner shell than it is 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. You know what I'm saying? All right. So make sure 1, 2, 3, boom. We're back to the beginning here. I'm going to slip stitch in the very first single crochet I worked. I'm going to bring my yarn towards me. I'm going to grab A, pull that through the loop that's on the hook and give that a nice tug, and then turn my work. So now with A on my hook, I'm simply going to single crochet kind of down and to the right again into the single crochet that I joined in. And now we're going to work what's kind of typically going to become the corner in whenever you're working with A. So like I said, whenever you're working with B, what we just did is going to be your corner. Whenever we're working with A, the corner is going to be a little bit different because those chain spaces are what allow us to increase stitches. But in order to increase the stitches, we kind of had to make those stitches, we got to introduce them with A on this round. So wrong side rounds are where we create the spaces for the increases. Right side rounds are where we actually introduce those increased stitches. Got me? Okay. So into that first chain 2 space, we're going to work 3 single crochet, then we'll chain 1 and work 3 single crochet. Into the next chain 1 space, we'll single crochet. Then into the next chain 1 space, we're going to work 3 single crochet, chain 1, and 3 single crochet. Into the next single crochet, we're just going to work a single crochet. Then we get back to another corner. We're going to do the same thing again. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. Single crochet in the next chain 1 space, and then in the next 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. Single in the next single. So you can see how we've taken that increase from the last round, well, those multiple increases, those chain 1 spaces that we worked in between each of those 2 double crochet groups, and now we're working shells. So we went from down here, we only technically had 4 shells. We had shells in each of the corners and then single crochets in between those shells. Now we're going from 4 to 8 shells, all right? This is essentially what this pattern is. It's just wrong side and right side rounds that you alternate creating spaces and then working shells into those spaces. And the only other thing that you really need to look out for when you're working through this is that into each of these single crochets, as the piece gets larger, and I'll grab my blanket so you can see that as your blanket gets larger, you'll have obviously more spaces in between each corner. So here's a corner. Each of my fingers is on a corner, right? And in between we have 3 of our shells. And then we have shells inside of shells, single crochets inside of single crochets. But on the alternate rounds, or on the wrong side rounds, we work the shells into the single crochets. So it's really important just to follow the pattern. And once you have the first, I would say 10 rounds done, you're really going to be able to know exactly what's going on in the pattern. You're going to be able to work on this. I call this potato chip crochet, meaning you just can't stop with one. You just want to keep going row or round, in this case, after round after round. And it's a ton of fun. So like I said, once you get everything established and you follow everything, the full pattern is on my blog, and the full pattern that you can print out and all that good stuff without any of the ads or all that, you know, rigmarole is listed. It's both available on Annie's and in my Ravelry shop. So links to all that stuff is down below. Now, one of the other things that I'm getting asked a lot of questions about is the join. Now, you probably can't tell on here, but the join is actually right here. Okay. And your wrong side looks like this. Now, I haven't woven in my ends on this sample yet, but you can see that I just carried the yarn up every single round. Like I said, I am not one to weave in ends. I don't like it. I just don't. So I'm going to carry the yarn whenever I can. And that's exactly what I did right here. here. So, I hope you had fun learning how to stitch up the Rick Rack blanket. This is inspired by my grandma's sewing basket, and doesn't it look like Rick Rack? I love it. Do you guys remember Rick Rack? I'll pop a photo somewhere on the screen so you can see what Rick Rack is. I think you can still buy it. Can you still buy it? I am not that old. I'm not that old. I'm not that old. Anyway, all right. I hope you had fun stitching this up. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you want the kit for this pattern with all the yarn, everything that I used exactly, I'll link it in the comments down below. Until next time, hope you have a wonderful day and lots of happy stitching. Bye, y'all.